This video is dedicated to James Humphreys. James, thank you. Glenn, Voice of Calm versus Neheb the Eternal, with not an incredible hand. We actually don't have any of our Voltron pieces there. But I'm going to keep it because I know full well that if I mulligan I'll get into Voltron pieces without any lands, and we are on the draw, so we've got a bit more of a chance of getting into stuff. Worst case scenario, we just drop 3 lands and get our commander out on turn 3. And there we go, our opponent gets into an incredibly fast start. They go down to 3 cards at least. Alright, I don't mind a Sigarda's Aid, I'll take that. But we may well be seeing a turn 2 Neheb here. Nope, going for Koth instead. Untapping a mountain. And they did untap the one that they played this turn, so it has Summoning Sickness. 2-2. Harsh Mentor coming in at us. And it's just another Plains. So let's just go for a tapped Shockland. And now Neheb comes down and they'll be able to make a 4-4 mountain with the Koth. And we're just going to take the hit here, we don't have a choice. Best thing we can hope for is a board wipe at this point. Anyway, they get 6 mana. Going in for a Swiftfoot Boots, and that will probably, yep, goes on to the Neheb. Then nothing else to do with the 3 mana apparently, so we'll get, I think it's a shock from this, yep, we get shocked for the Harsh Mentor. Let's get the tap land in so that we don't have to shock it in later, because damage is going to matter this game. Alright, Force of Will, let's play the Plains so that the dual land comes in untapped. We'll get our commander down. Absolutely no means of buffing it whatsoever at this point. They tap down all their mana and then use the Koth to untap it, get them into 5 mana, so Gauntlet of Power will buff their red stuff, and it will also have their lands tapped for 2. We're not going to block here. They get 8 mana from Neheb this time, and that is a risk factor. We are going to have to allow them to draw the cards, so we won't take 4. Don't think it really matters at this point. Ancient Tomb for them. And I think they'll, yeah, they've managed to plus past the limit break. So they'll be able to minus down on that next turn and hit us for 1 damage apiece with these if needs be. That was a Banefire. So we get knocked down to 3. And this is pretty much us done for at this point, isn't it? Play that out. We do have a Black Blade Reforged. We'll only get plus 4/4 with that, but that's something we can go for. It might be that we get into, if we draw with Glenn, then we might be able to get into a Mana Crypt and a board wipe, but then we've got Mana Crypt to contend with, so yeah, we're not going to win this one, so just for the fun of it, let's swing in and see what we were going to draw into. Swing in straight at our opponent. I don't think we can hit Planeswalkers with this. Yeah, it's damage to a player. So we'll hit them for 5 commander. And yeah, we just weren't going to get into anything here, were we? Let's brainstorm just for the fun of it. Okay, there's a Sentinel's Eyes as well. That doesn't do anything. We were 1 card away from the Wrath of God, but couldn't cast it anyway. So we will say, good game to our opponent. And we will try and get one off in which none of us get into any fast mana. Or both of us get into fast mana. Well, speaking of having fast mana, there's ours in Mana Crypt. That means a turn 2 Glenn, a turn 1 Brave the Sands. We can go for Duelist Heritage after that, and we've got some removal, so yeah, we want to buff our commander really, but we can keep there. I have no doubt that the Karametra will be able to ramp out ahead of us, even though we've got fast mana. So let's drop ourselves a Plains and a Mana Crypt, go for Brave the Sands. And they just play Emeria the Sky Ruin. Alright, a Thran Dynamo. I think we still get our Glenn into play, even though we could afford Thran Dynamo, because we want to start swinging in as soon as we can. And if we have to eat a mana dork in order to do it, then that's fine. Doubt they'll block with a mana dork if they play one here. Still no plays from our opponent, so maybe they've got some kind of removal. We'll probably drop the Duelist's Heritage here and try and draw as many cards as possible. Yeah, definitely do that here, I think. So with that, we will swing in with our Vigilance Glen. It will gain double strike. So we hit them once and draw equal to Glen's power, get into a Trophy Mage. Path to Exile as well, so we'll drop the white mana and hold up Path at this point. And our opponent decides to scoop at that, so they obviously missed the third land, or they don't fancy their odds. We were drawing into Hammer of Nazarn. Yeah, not really much of anything. With Hammer of Nazarn and Double Strike, I think we would have quickly gotten into Steel Shaper's Gift, so yeah, I think we were clearly winning that one, but it was off of the back of some fast mana. What do you want?
I just wondered why they'd scooped.
Because I won I got ahead on mana really quickly, so it's fair enough.
That was a quick game.
It was, yes.
It was very quick. I'll leave you be now. I just want to say what a cool haircut you've got there. Because it's the talk of work, isn't it, work.
The talk of the town, yeah.
You've got such a cool haircut.
I've got
super cool.
The same haircut that everyone always gets. Short back and sides, bit longer on top, right? But I've got it cut shorter than I normally get it cut. So I've got it cut. I usually get it cut on a 2, and I've done it on a 1 this time to minimise the amount of time, or maximise the amount of time until I have to go back to the barbers again. And it's the best thing.
It's work, isn't it?
Oh, it's the best thing that's ever happened to anyone.
Like, everybody's attracted to it. I'm actually seriously worried now. I don't like you out of the sight.
It's
just a haircut.
Yeah, very strange. Some people
are interested in other
certain people have been very, very obsessed with it, haven't they? Like mentioning it 5 times a day.
Like
it looks good. That it looks good. Oh, yeah, it looks really good.
But then that person is bald, you see, so you've got to take that into.
Yeah. They might have an unhealthy obsession with hair that they're not quite.
Yeah. Because they're
aware of.
I wish I had hair like his. I wish I looked that
well,
good.
That looks so sick and lit and fire and things.
Lit and fire. Are they Magic the Gathering?
No, they're cool YouTube internet phrases.
Are they recent though?
Yeah, they're within the past year or so. Those
I don't
ones.
want you to make you a fool of yourself.
They're probably out of date by now, and I just don't know it because I'm not cool and gangster.
So Ace isn't a good one now.
Ace is 90s, I think.
Yeah.
Ace
I am a 90s child.
The only one.
Wicked's a good one.
Wicked. Yeah, that's ancient. I'm trying to think of them now. Cool is universal. Everyone uses cool. But yeah, sick and lit.
I never liked
fire.
Sick because sick just means a pile of vomit. So sick will never, in my eyes, never be good. A good thing is a pile of vomit.
Or you are ill. You're sick. But then ill was one in the 90s. That was like a Run DMC type one, wasn't it?
You be illing.
You be illing. If you haven't heard You Be Illing, go and listen to the song, but pay attention to the lyrics.
Yes. You brought my attention to that, actually.
Well, Run DMC are very good, but
the lyrics
You Be Illing is funny. Very funny.
Yeah, it is. Illing.
Bam. Bam, 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 bam. Do a bit of scratching.
Right, I'll leave you be. Sorry, love. It was just nice to. Well, it was just a quick game, and I thought, wow. And then I wanted to comment on your hair because I can't stop. I can't stop looking at you. In fact, I'm going to set the alarm tonight for like every hour so I can wake up and just
so you can get your fix.
Yeah.
You start getting the shakes while you're sleeping.
And then I might take a video of you like a pervert. Love you, bye.
Yeah, see you later. Well, apparently we're either going to get ahead on mana or we're going to fall behind in this video. This time up against Odric, Lunarch, Marshal. And we're going to have to mulligan. Yeah, Preordain might help us there. Can we make... Yes, we can make blue because we're going to control the planes. We can't go for the turn 1 Preordain, unfortunately. Might get into a blue source, so let's just keep that one. And we will bin a Silent Arbiter, I think. There's a little bit of a prism package here to keep people getting us on the swing back with Glen, but I'm thinking that we're going to just need more Voltron pieces, to be honest. Our opponent starts things off with a Temple of the False God. Couldn't think of a worse land to start off with than that, other than a bounce land. And then it's a tap land. Well, we've got time to do something here, apparently. Let's go Preordain, and we'll see if we want to shuffle things up with the Steel Shaper's Gift. Darksteel Mutation might hurt them. Do we want... Yeah, I wouldn't mind both of those, to be honest, but let's shuffle away the Darksteel Mutation, and we'll draw into the Brainstorm, cast the Steel Shaper's Gift. And I think what we want here is... we're probably going for a turn 4 Hammer of Nazan if we can, so let's just go Feast and Famine. I mean, we could have gone for the Colossus Hammer there, I suppose, but yeah, I think I'm okay with that. We just need to hope for a land. With Glen, worst case scenario, we have to go for Brainstorm to get into one. Our opponent just drops a land and passes. We get into Jitte, so let's cast our commander. And no turn 4 Odric for our opponent, thanks to the Temple. They are 1 land away from that being active. But we can't seem to get into lands, unfortunately, so let's Brainstorm and hope that there's one on top. Well, there's the Mana Crypt again, but yeah, struggling on mana, so we're going to have to go for Jitte here, I think. Which means we put Supreme Verdict and Hammer of Nazan on top. Go for the Crypt, and then it's cycling a Winged Shepherd from our opponent. Play the Jitte, and we'll equip it, might as well get some counters on there. And we're going to draw back into the Hammer here. We'll only hit our opponent for 1, unfortunately. So it's fingers crossed again that we manage to get into a land next turn, although at least we've got Mana Crypt now. We're just still struggling on blue. Odric, Lunarch, Marshal coming in with 2 mana held up. 6 cards left in hand. And it is Relic of Progenitus. Don't really care about that. Alright, getting to another board wipe in Supreme Verdict. So let's just drop the Hammer of Nazan here. That should help keep our commander in play, and it'll also help us to drop equipments onto it. Yeah, they're actually on equal power now, so we do need to buff our Glen with the Jitte. So it turns out the Jitte was relevant on the turn that we cast and equipped it. So should be able to hit our opponent here, and we'll draw a bunch of cards. Alright, there we go. Getting into some stuff there. Let's go for the... I think we can surprise our opponent with Colossus Hammer, so let's go for Sword of the Animist. Actually, Swiftfoot Boots is a more intelligent idea, isn't it? So there we go. We can now get rid of our opponent's Odric as well, which we probably should do, but I don't want him to scoop on us, so let's get rid of Trophy Mage here. And what else? Supreme Verdict I think we're safe to get rid of. We're threatening commander damage on our opponent at this point. Our opponent deciding to swing in, they might as well because they can't block our commander. And then they drop a Plains. They can definitely use their Temple of the False God at this point. I think they can draw a card with this if they're desperate. Yeah, for 1 and exile. Right, we're going to draw a lot of cards here, so let's drop Reliquary Tower. We will go for Sword of Feast and Famine on our opponent, which means we should be able to tap out here, hopefully. Let's go for Sword of the Animist as well. We do have auras in the deck, but we're making use of Hammer of Nazan at this point. So let's go for Colossus Hammer, and we should be able to get lethal on our opponent thanks to commander damage. What are we at there? Yeah, 16-16, so that'll be 22 points of commander damage. And our opponent seems to be... and our opponent tapped down 4 mana there, so it might be that they've got the thing that allows us to search for basics. What is it called? No, not the one I was thinking of. What is that? Encircling Fissure. Prevent all combat damage that will be dealt this turn by creatures that an opponent controls, and they awaken. Fair enough. But we still get to go for Sword of the Animist. Yeah, I was thinking of the card that exiles all attacking creatures, and you get a basic per creature that is exiled. But no, thankfully we get to keep our Glen in play. So we don't get more counters on the Jitte, but we can always get rid of one of their lands if we feel the need to. Again, not going to do that. I want our opponent to play it out for as long as we can for the sake of the video. That's a clever way of giving Odric haste, though, or giving all your creatures haste by putting haste on a land with the Awaken. Yeah, not something I've ever thought of. Flash and creatures you control get +2/+2. You're not all that worried about that. Okay, Flying, Vigilance and Lifelink, the white Vampire Nighthawk. So we're going to get hit for a decent chunk here. I think I want to get rid of our opponent's commander. Could have done it before now to stop Vigilance and all that, but our opponents can't block us anyway. And they just decide to scoop there, that's fair enough. What did we have on top of our library? Force of Will is in here, along with the other 3 mana free negate that I always forget the name of. Looking over at the deck list, it is Fierce Guardianship is the one I'm thinking of. But yeah, there's every chance that you get into a blue spell for Force of Will, although I don't think we got into one there. Yeah, need to keep playing the deck. It might be that I need to take out some cards and just put more Voltron stuff in here, because we don't seem to be doing all that good a job of drawing into it. I shall keep playing and see if we can get some better draws going. Up against the same player, but they have decided to change decks. Inalla, Archmage Ritualist this time, and we have a Cavern of Souls, so that ought to be good against the Grixis player. We will start things off with a Tundra, and then might just hold up the island for mana drain next turn. Brainstorm from our opponent after a second tap land. Alright, and with that we'll just throw out a Nimbus Maze, because that will tap for 2 mana as well. 2 different colours. Yeah, let's just hold up the mana drain. Okay, cycling, that's fine with me, we couldn't counter that anyway. And then going in for a bounce land in Boilerworks. Alright, another land in Mystic Gate. There is a dual land in here that cares about the number of basics we've got, so we'll get a basic into play. Let's drop ourselves a Bastion Protector. I think the Grixis removal is going to be more based on destruction as opposed to exile, so it might be that Bastion Protector is more relevant. Plus this way we can always go Glen into Hyena Umbra next turn. And then it's probably Gilded Lotus, hold up mana drain after that. Playing out the tap land again after they went for the Boilerworks. Now it is Stony Brook Banneret. Makes their wizards cost less, and it has Island Walk, which is relevant against us. We will drop. I think we go Cavern of Souls here, because they might have some counter magic for our human, Glen. And that does get a buff, and it's indestructible. Let's swing in with the Bastion Protector, just for the sake of getting some damage onto them. And we'll not forget to put the Umbra onto Glen as well, just in case they get a board wipe or something. That's also a little buff as well. Jace, Unraveler of Secrets, and they can bounce our Glen if they want to here. That will remove the aura, that's the problem with auras. But we can get rid of Jace here by swinging in with the Bastion Protector. So this keeps us off Gilded Lotus. We're just going in for Glen and holding up mana drain here, I think. Let's swing in with the Bastion Protector at Jace, and then we'll cast our Glen again, and now hold up a mana drain. Temple of the False God for our opponent puts them up to 7 mana, I think they're on here. Terminate onto the Bastion Protector. I don't think I like the sound of. I want to protect our commander, but I also want them to use more removal to get rid of Bastion Protector. So if they've got a board wipe here, they'll have to use it to get rid of Bastion Protector. Maybe they've got Toxic Deluge or something. That would get rid of both creatures. Okay, Docent of Perfection, that could become a problem. And it can actually block our Glen as well, unfortunately. Okay, Sphinx's Rev is actually very good. Let's drop the Mystic Gate, and we could just draw 5 cards here. Yeah, I think we just go for the Sphinx's Revelation now, because if we go Gilded Lotus, we'll only be able to put 3 into X. We could go Gilded Lotus and then wait till next turn to do Sphinx's Revelation, but I'd rather just do something now. Our opponent's going to pull even further away from us if we're not careful. Also, it doesn't look as though they have counter magic held up. So we'll try and get into some Voltron pieces. Alright, Cyclonic Rift, Wrath of God. We could use to wipe their board and our Bastion Protector. I'm liking Spirit Mantle and the Black Blade, so yeah. That's something to do for next turn, I think. Discard an island. Inalla coming into play, followed by a Vampiric Tutor. That gets them into a human with flying. Might just have to tap out for a Cyclonic Rift next turn. Or maybe, yeah, Wrath of God would be okay. We could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into Gilded Lotus. And then go in for Wrath of God. Anyway, they tutor a card onto the top. Final iteration has graced us now. Giving Wizards +2, +1 and flying. So swinging in with both of those. We do have a bit of lifelink in the deck, so I'm not too worried about that. They might just have some counter magic for us. They've got 2 cards left in hand. I think we still go for the Wrath of God plan because we'll be up 3 mana thanks to the Gilded Lotus. So next turn we'll be able to go for Cyclonic Rift if we need to. So yeah, let's go for the plains. See if they've got any counters for a Gilded Lotus. Yeah, that came down pretty quickly, so I fancy our odds of getting this done. But we'll see. Yeah, managing to land it, that's really good. We don't know what they tutored for, of course. Hopefully it wasn't something to refill their hand. Swing in with Glen, we might as well draw another card, get some damage on our opponent. And it's just another land for us. Yeah, we've got some Voltron pieces at least. And is that what they tutored for? That is settle the score, exile a creature. Yeah, I think that's what they tutored for because they couldn't get around the destruction, so had to go for what I hope is one of their only exile effects. We will return Glen to the command zone. And they're managing to get down Vanquisher's Banner. They are down to 0 cards, so it might be that they just have to go for their commander next turn for the sake of keeping themselves in cards. Dovin's Veto won't really do much for us. Let's drop an island and go in for Glen again. And then we want to hold up Dovin's Veto, so let's just go for a Spirit Mantle on there. And we can go for Black Blade Reforged, maybe. Do we want to surprise our opponent with that? I don't think they're going to top deck into artifact removal. I mean, you never know, but I'd rather just save myself on mana here. Don't like running out artifacts when we've got nothing to do with them. But it saves us 2 mana next turn. It also gives our opponent more information running this out, knowing that they're not going to be able to block our commander, most likely. So it might change what they do here, but like I said, top decking into potentially a land, and they do draw another card by going for Inalla. So I don't think they got into anything off the top there. Well, they play a land, so one of their draws was a land. And then a Lightning Greaves. Okay, well, we might have to go for Cyclonic Rift. We've got protection from creatures here, so we're not really bothered about Inalla swinging in at us. Save our Dovin's Veto for something that gets rid of Glen, so that we don't have to lose too much momentum. Hall of Heliod's Generosity, we will go for that. Might grab the Hyena Umbra, but I wouldn't have thought we'd be too eager for that. Let's equip to Glen. So he is now an 11-13 with protection from creatures, so no chance of our opponent blocking here. Now that will draw us into 11 cards. And one more hit like that, and our opponent is done for next turn. Let's see, we've got Fierce Guardianship, that's really good. I don't mind getting into the Thought Vessel either, so that we can keep hold of the cards that are in our hand. Let's go for Steel Shaper's Gift, and we'll try and give our commander Indestructible with Hammer of Nazan. So play the Hammer of Nazan, and that equips itself. We'll then go for Sentinel's Eyes as well. And again, hold up the Dovin's Veto. We've got Fierce Guardianship up as well, so it would be a very impressive victory if our opponent manages to get us here. Time Stream Navigator, and that can have haste. Take an extra turn after this one, but you can only do it if you have the City's Blessing. yeah, not much we can do about that. I think we're just going to have to give them an extra turn. And of course they're going to be able to pay for the Inalla. Yeah, that's hell of a top deck from our opponent. We'll just have to hope that they don't find a means of bouncing the Time Stream Navigator, sacrificing the token version so they get an extra turn. Swinging in at us for 5, they might as well. So we're going to be on 10 commander damage next turn, and then there's an extra turn after that. So, yeah, hopefully this is an extra turn tribal from our opponent. We do have counter magic for extra turns at least. Really didn't expect to see an extra turn off of a creature. Alright, sacrificing that one now. Still only one card in hand, and I think they played this desert. So again, they are going to swing in at us. We go down to 15 and 10 commander. And then it is Diabolic Tutor. I don't think I would like you to have a Diabolic Tutor. I think I'd like you to top deck something and swing in at us next turn. They just get into a land, so I assume they're not going to swing in, but maybe they will just for the fun of it because they can't block us anyway. Yep. Knocking us down to 10, up to 15 commander. They did get into some really good top decks in the Diabolic Tutor and the extra turn card. It just it didn't amount to anything, unfortunately for them. Okay, a Preordain. I think we've got our opponent here, haven't we? Yes, so all we do is turn in sideways, but our opponent decides to scoop anyway. Again, let's see what we were drawing into. We would have drawn 14 cards there. So let's just have a look at a bunch of cards on the top. Unlimited hand size, don't forget, thanks to the Thought Vessel. Yeah, we would have gotten into Fast Mana. Staggering Insight is Lifelink. +1/+1 and card draw. There's all kinds in here. Battle Mastery is a good means to kill your opponent off very quickly. Lots of mana from Sword of Feast and Famine. Another tutor for us. With this we can go for Darksteel Mutation and what's the other one? Imprisoned in the Moon, which is really good for getting rid of your opponent's commanders. Or just problem creatures in general. Yeah, so our opponent could easily have swung back at us there, thanks to the extra turns, but luckily for us they didn't get into anything decent off the top, or not anything decent that they could resolve anyway. Hopefully you all enjoy this Glenn the Voice of Calm deck, and hopefully the like to dislike ratio on this video isn't incredibly bad. I'm sure it's going to get mobbed by people that are against this product. But let's keep it respectful in the comments. There are people that want to play with these cards, and these videos are for those people. I am going to be playing some of these commanders on the channel, so try not to let your head explode if you're against this set, although you probably haven't made it this far into the video. If you are, have you? I'm tribalkai on the EDH channel. Thank you for watching.